Well, members of the Obama administration claiming 6 million signups for Obamacare. Former Obama advisor David Plouffe claims it's well over 10 million. But we still don't know the real number, the number that of enrollees or signups who've actually paid for the insurance, nor how many had previous policies that were canceled, or the ratio of sick, costly subscribers to young, healthy, low-cost customers. Two experts are joining us tonight, President of the Galen Institute, Grace Marie Turner, great to have you with us, and Senior Fellow at the Manhattan Institute, former healthcare policy advisor to the Romney campaign, and Forbes contributing editor, Avik Roy. Good to have you with us as well. Avik, let's start with you. Here's another deadline. This is the big one. How confident are you that there won't be further delays, that we won't see other deadlines be resurrected?
Well, we'll certainly see other delays and other ad hoc improvisations by the administration. But it is important to give them credit, given where they were in October. It is impressive how many people they've managed to sign up for Obamacare. But Jay Carney was misrepresenting the numbers because 6 million people, he claims, have signed up on these exchanges, but probably only about 2 million of those people were previously uninsured, and only about half of those people have actually paid for their coverage.
You feel the same way, Grace Marie?
Absolutely. And what an incredibly cynical definition of success. First of all, they drive 6 million people out of their private policies and the doctors they like. They threaten people with fines. They charge them more for health insurance. And because they've now been driven into the Obamacare exchanges, they say this is success. They're not talking about the millions, maybe millions more people who've actually been harmed by this law. And
Avik Roy wrote a piece in for Forbes talking about, as you just said, a third of the folks who've signed up on healthcare.gov, at least, just about a third of them were uninsured previously. That's 2 million folks. And this administration went around talking about 50 million people in this country uninsured. We know that you can add more than 6 million to that. At least at one point, because insurance companies canceled their policies because of Obamacare. Where do you think we stand?
Couple of key things to mention there. So that 50 million uninsured statistic includes 11 million illegal immigrants. So the real uninsured number among citizens and legal immigrants is more like 39 million. That's point number one. Point number two, the Congressional Budget Office projection that Jay Carney was referring to in his press conference, they predicted that the vast majority, 80% or more, of the people who enrolled in the exchanges would be people who were previously previously uninsured, excuse me. So 80% of the people, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the projection was that 80% of the people would be previously uninsured. That the vast majority of people enrolling would be previously uninsured people. It turns out the vast majority are previously insured people. And that is the key difference between what the CBO projected and what has actually happened.
The ballyhooed or projected ratio then was inverted in actuality from the administration's projections. Maryland, we find out, Grace Marie, is now shutting down its deal, its exchange, insurance exchange, because it's just so screwed up. They've had about a third the enrollees they had sought, and now are going to go to Connecticut to get their software to start again, adding another 30 million in expenses to what was obviously a wasted 125+ million.
Yes, and there are many other states also, in Massachusetts and Hawaii and Minnesota, that have spent several $100 million of taxpayer money trying to build these websites that have completely blown up, haven't been able, in some cases, Oregon, to enroll anyone. They're processing these applications by paper. So when you can't even run a website, how on earth are people supposed to have confidence that they're going to be able to re-engineer 1/6 of the American economy, which is what they're trying to do here?
Well, one other aspect of this is the effort here in Obamacare to register voters, which is, I think a lot of people had talked about it. You thought that they were, many of us thought they were joking. It turns out that's a major motivation here, apparently, for the government is to register voters.
There was a story today in California of a couple that were registered Republicans who got a notice in the mail after signing up for coverage on the exchange that they'd been registered, and the registration form had already checked off Democrat on their behalf.
Well, government is often helpful, and that's an example. Grace Marie, at what point should people be a little concerned about the federal government getting involved in the registration process?
Absolutely. And it actually says, Lou, right there on the application, are you registered to vote? Would you like a voter application? So they were right up front. And there are going to be a lot of people who think that we better answer this the right way if we want to keep our generous subsidy for health insurance, because 80% of those who are signing up for health insurance on the Obamacare exchanges are actually getting subsidies. So this is just one more example of the dependency society of which Obamacare is a key part.
Well, at least they didn't have a box asking for a deduction from your premium, specifically in addition to your premium, specifically for the Democratic Party. I thought that was generous on their part. I'm sure you did as well, Avik.
They do that in other contexts.
That's right. Avik Roy, thanks so much. Grace Marie Turner, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lou.